For some of you, you were always going through a battle. Someone was always attacking your character. It seemed like that's what they targeted. And it's like there were people who would harass you behind the scenes. If they knew that there was an event coming up, or they knew that someone was going to come around that they wanted to embarrass you in front of, oh, they would work you over, and gaslight you, pull arguments out of thin air just to drain your energy. And then once that person that they want to embarrass you in front of comes around, they'll say things that they know is a trigger, they know is a hurt spot to you in the front of this person, just to get an outburst. There are people who had a strategy for how to bring you down. They strategized. It was more than just a cycle. Yeah, it's good to learn the cycles and good to see how that there is a system in place against you. It's good to open your eyes to it. But there was a strategy and how they went about it. So anytime there was an event that come up where you were going to be amongst other people, or a crowd of people, or someone important, well, then a certain person would target you. They just had to rival you and bother you, so that by the time that person comes around or that event comes around, you're all wired up and they're calm as an angel. Oh, and they will play the victim and look so gentle and have you looking upset and angry, to make it seem like you're a mean person and they're this sweet, docile person, even though they were working you over like a devil behind the scenes. So sometimes we have to reevaluate family. We put so much on, this is my family, I gotta be there for them. We put so much on that we can't even see past the fact that sometimes your family is your worst enemies. The Bible says, Jesus said that those of your families will be your worst enemies. And he says sometimes a friend will stick closer to you than a brother, meaning that if your family lets you down, you may find outside family with a friend. They may be closer to you than some of your own family members. You can trust them better than you can trust some of your own family members. So all of this stock that has been placed on family and stick together and blood is thicker than water was keeping you in a toxic situation that you desperately needed to come out of. You know, sometimes your family was just so desperately threatened by your talent or threatened by any gifts within you. They didn't want you to outshine them. There were some people in the family, they always wanted to be the center of attention. They always wanted to be in the spotlight. They wanted everyone to live vicariously through them and to think of themselves as lame. And every time this one person comes around, they're supposed to bring the excitement and be the fun person of the family. And normally this is the very toxic and poisonous person of the family. This person will tend to band together with those against you to try to tear you down and tear down at you, and then they will go off feeling happy, like, oh, they just had a good time, even though you were torn to shreds inside and did not have any good time. You know, even though you were hurting and sore, and they want to do it in a way that's so embarrassing for you to even bring up. They want to make it so that it's too humiliating for you to even share with anybody that this is what your family did, a family member did to you. They want to make it so humiliating that you're suffering in silence, that you're suffering within yourself. And then they go off living their best life, like they're living their best life off of your pain. And see, sometimes they will bring people together like vampires just to drain your energy, just to feed off your energy. Sometimes when you are in like the lion's den. Sometimes family members will draw you into the lion's den. Friends will draw you into the lion's den. Coworkers will draw you into the lion's den. And then you see them feeding off of your pain, feeding off of your hurt, feeding off of your emotions and your anger. They see you, they start to feed off of your trauma, and they have the boss wrapped around their finger, or they'll have the mother and father wrapped around their finger. They'll have someone in a high position wrapped around their fingers, whereby you can't even go to that person for help. And so HR, you can't even go to HR for help because, they done targeted HR against you. And so they try to lock you down and keep you in this invisible jail. Everywhere you go, you feel like you're in this box, that you don't have your freedom of voice, you don't have your freedom of expression, you don't have your freedom to just be your own self. And you feel like, who really knows me? Who really knows me? And you just wanted to be known for your true self and the good person that you truly are. But it was just hard for anyone to see that about you because of all the charades and all the facades and all the lies that was spread about you. It's like they just had this web of deceit going to you couldn't really be yourself, and you wondered, does anybody really see who you really are? Does anybody really know who you really are? And so this is a horrible way to live. It's a very isolating and painful way to live. And it's not so much that you were lonely, but you just lived in this shrinking spot, like this closing in space. Like the space around you just kept closing in and closing in. But you had to find a way to finally break out of that little sphere and breathe again and live again and have your voice again, have your personality and spontaneity again, trust again. It was very difficult to trust at times because your trust was betrayed. Family would say, let's all stick together. Let's all pitch in for each other. And then you would pitch in the most. They would get you to pitch in the most. And then everybody run off with the bag, especially the pick-me, especially the entitled one of the family who thinks they're this, the fun of the party, the life of the party, especially that one. They'll run off with most of the bag and leave everybody else to fend for themselves at the end. Then when everybody else needs anything, you need to do for yourself and stop depending on other people. They'll say it in a way that makes it sound right, that makes it sound like, just do for yourself. Why are you looking for somebody else to help you and fix you, while they the main one run off with all the help and all the bag of goods that the family came together and pitched in on. They're the main ones that got most of the help in the family, doing much better than anybody else in the family, then turn around and tell anyone else who's asking for assistance from them to find their own way. You went through a lot. You went through more than you should have gone through. You struggled through so much that alone, and you wondered who was really on your side, who saw what you were going through. And it's God. God saw what you were going through. He always had angels around you, guardian angels around you. Everyone has a guardian angel, and so do you. But because you don't always see the angel, you can't always see how God is working and how God is protecting you, then you feel like you're battling these wars by yourself. And you would go from war to war to war to war. Some of you went through extreme situations, from one situation to the next. And so whenever you had a moment of peace, you didn't know how long it was going to last. You wondered, how long is this going to last? And it caused you to feel like when something good starts to really come around, it causes you to wonder how long it will be for. And it may even cause you to self-sabotage. But let's not do that. That's another lesson for another day. But for some people, They had to work on themselves to heal from so much so that they didn't self-sabotage when something good came along. You know, they wanted you to not trust yourself. They wanted you to trust everybody else but yourself. They wanted to make it seem like everybody else knew how life works but you. When that's a lie. And so they wanted you to feel like that you needed them, when in actuality it was them who always needed you, and they had to keep you down and keep you confounded so that they could keep using you, feeding off your energy, getting others, gang stalking, getting others to gang stalk against you so that others can also feed off you. It's like, you know, they're like, oh, here's somebody that you can mess with and frustrate, and you can feed off their energy. It's like they pawned you off. But God saw everything that was happening. You were never alone. You had guardian angels. You still have guardian angels. And don't let it mess with you, because in the end, what comes around goes around. What they have sown, they will have to deal with. And when they have to deal with it, it's going to be much tougher than what they dealt you. And most people who ditch these kind of things out, they never see it coming when it comes back around on them, and they're not prepared for it. So where you bear through it, and you bore through way more than what anybody should have to bore through, they're going to have a difficult time bearing through it, because they're not even the type to want to really seek a higher being or seek the Lord or have any good in them. They haven't really been sowing much good seeds, whereby it would help them through those tougher times. So you may even have to pray for your enemies. That's why God says pray for your enemies. But just know that you're going to be well. Everything's going to turn out good for you. Everything is looking up for you. And things are going to just supersede what you could have ever imagined. You know, God likes to really bless big. When he blesses big. And the more that you've gone through, the bigger your blessing is going to be. So you all take care and be well.